Can you explain the law of one by Ra? Yeah. In reality, to make it very simple, everything is connected to everything, right? It's just that you're dealing with different levels of vibration. And if you start to look at things as energy, because ultimately things break down into vibration, waveforms. Things are pulsating and vibrating. When you look at a waveform, it's just up and down, right? And that's just pulsation up and down or in and out. So we breathe in and out. Everything has that kind of like duality in the third dimension. And then there's a middle part that goes between the two, you see. So when you say the law of one, this is when you start to transcend things that are divisive, such as religions, because what religions do is divide people, and everyone claims to be different. And I pointed out that they all come from Abraham when you're dealing with the monotheistic religions. When you get outside of the Abrahamic religions, you still go back to older cultures, but if you study what they say, they're the same stories, just remixed from ancient, what they call Egypt. But all these names that you're using are taught to you by Adamites or Europeans. So you have to say, where's the source of the information? And you go back to the oldest people on the planet, being us as the original beings on the planet when you go millions of years back. Now, all the people that teach you about religion, they give you a date, 6,000 years ago. Or maybe, they might go a bit further in terms of when you start to deal with like Hinduism and so forth. But you look at the characters, the character that exists, the original, the source, will be in ancient Tamaray or Egypt, or what we call the area that's known as Napata, Meroe, dealing with pre-dynastic, dealing with the beings that were in Neolithic and they were in the Nile Valley. This is what we say when we go back way past the 46 dynasties that people teach you about, going back to the newborns, going all the way back to these beings in ancient Egypt known as the Ogdoads or the nine Enneads, and going all the way back to beings that came here and seeded this planet from different constellations. Our ancestors from the Orion star system and what you call the Sirius. And then the stories say, for example, the being that existed, we know as Har or Haru or Hiru, which became Horus. Then in Hindu became from Horus, Hara to Hari. Because when you look at languages and study what they call Semitic languages, you see that a lot of the times the vowels are interchangeable. So when you say Hari, as in Hari Krishna, you hear the word Krishna, Christos ties into Christ. Now, that goes into in Sumer as Tammuz. Yeah, and then from that, coming into, as we say, the Anunnaki stories, you get it into the Greek, and that becomes Christus, yeah, Horus instead of Hara. So you hear Hara, Hari, Horus. You look at the three words, they all just move in vowels around, okay? And that Horus becomes your Jesus in now Christianity, becomes Isa in Arabic in Islam. So it's just the same story being remixed over time, different cultures being passed off as an original story when it actually isn't. So we have to always remember, go back to the source, the beginning, you see. So they start off with a creation and they just give you a story being relayed to you of how it all started. But then the person relaying the story had to be there already to know about the story. So this is why when we teach in Wu-Sabat, a lot of the times people will hear something new they've never heard before, because you've been confined within these books. And that's because the people that are teaching you are residents of this planet. Whereas our teacher is somebody that is a visitor. And he has always been able to give us information way ahead of everyone else, and new information that nobody's talking about. And people will say, well, where does he get it from? And then they will go and try to check it out. And he always said, don't believe me, check it out. But he also said there will come a time where I'm going to take you outside, because I'm from outside. It's not like he came on the scene not saying he's not from here. He came on the scene saying, I'm a visitor. I come from a place called Planet Risk in a galaxy known as Ilion. You see, so I'm going to teach you and answer all your questions to a point where I will give you what you want until you learn to want what I have to give, what I have been assigned to come and do. This is a mission. And the mission is to make everything clear. Like he said, set the record straight so that you will know your way. And for those who don't want to evolve and they want to be stuck and stay in these religions that don't change, that just have you stifled in your growth, in your being, that's fair enough. We're not, we don't solicit or try to convert people. We give you the facts, we give you the information, and you, using your divine being within you, make the choice of whether it makes sense and if you want to be raised higher in degrees. All right. So we just need to keep, emphasizing that it's all about Wu-Sabat. So yeah, sorry, going back to the law of one, everything is connected when you transcend all these divisive religions that divide people. You say how? Because you have all of these denominations and denominations and denominations. Then they fight against each other about having arguments about things they do not know. But when you transcend people, places and things, and you start to realize that what you're composed of, what is really you, is in the inner you, right? Not the physical you. That essence goes back to spirit, soul, mental, and these are intangible in the way that your physical body or the things that are vibrating on the lower vibrations or the material or physical world are. So this is where you start to deal with quantum, as in quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement, dealing with what, the subdivision of atoms going to a point where they no longer are on the physical dense part, but more on the etheric side. And it's about tones and vibration, and we all merge in one. And we refer to this as the all, or the all expanding. You see, so the law of one is that when you look at everything, things are connected. And this is why, there's this thing called cause and effect, and there's a chain reaction of things. And so we're all connected as one. This is why when you say the word alone, you say I'm alone, which would kind of give you the impression that you are one. But really you're saying all one, A-L-O-N-E, or you can say A-L-L-O-N-E, all one. We are all one. But some people only vibrate at a lower density and cannot go to the higher levels, or are trapped within a particular realm. You see, so the law of one is ultimately all is. That's it. All right. Hope that helped you, Joa, if I'm pronouncing your name properly.